I'm basically going to give tips, but sort of give kind of a testimonial about what I do when it comes to leading the guild. Since POWs lasted for 9 years, since we lasted for 9 years, I guess that there are some people that, some people are interested in, hey, I want to run a guild like that, or I want to be able to run a successful guild. And maybe some people have tried and they failed to, or some people just don't know what to do, or they, have that whole social anxiety thing. So I wanted to take some time to just kind of talk about that for a little bit, and maybe there'll be some nuggets of information that people can take from this, and maybe it's not going to be to like, maybe this information isn't going to help someone run the next exorcist or the next top 50 100 guild or whatever, but maybe it can help them get started, and maybe it can help them create a successful raiding guild or a role-playing guild, a PvP guild, or like a big social guild, like a family, like I kind of did with POW. So maybe these things will help. So I run a guild because I run a guild so I can ensure a raid spot. that's that's that was to be honest, that was kind of a thing. That in the same time, like WoW was my first. It was my first MMO, or it was the second MMO that I played where I was in a guild, and this was my chance to be part of like the whole leadership kind of thing to it. So when I first started back in Burning Crusade, in POW, it was someone else that ran the guild, and then I slowly started to take over, just because I was taking care of the raids and all that stuff. I guess I just wanted to keep going. I wanted to keep playing. The way that I defined my existence in World of Warcraft was to be part of this guild and to keep it going, and I think that's what I do now. It's the reason why I play. If it wasn't for the guild, I would be subject to like a lot of the social anxieties and the social problems that exist in the greater WoW community. And that doesn't quite exist here in POW, because we can control that narrative. We can control this little tiny space that we have. So we can allow people that normally would not be accepted into like the group finder or into like a pug raid. They can come hang with us. So yeah, like eventually it became me wanting to create a space for people like me to hang out and play. Well, you'll see on like trade chat and spam, like I'll straight up say, well, I haven't done trade spam in a while, but I'll say, Prisoners of Warcraft, we're a casual guild, and this is what we do. But more than anything, I want to at least try and start a conversation and start vetting people like right away, and they can vet me too. They can vet my guild and see if we're a good fit. Because the whole point, like I said, it's to give people a space. It's not necessarily, hey, I want to kill this boss, I need these people. It's more like, hey, I want to grow. I want to see the family get a little bit bigger. Some family left or moved on or quit or got lost in Thailand or something. But I want to project the guild as just a place for people to hang out. But we happen to raid heroic stuff, and this is our schedule, and if I have a critical need, this is my critical need. But more than anything, I just want to meet more people. I think the guild's atmosphere, it's funny. We were talking about that just earlier, and Mary, one of our guys, I call him Mary, he said something like, find a group of assholes that you hate less than everybody else. And I mean, that's kind of true. I mean, the atmosphere for the most part is chill. We're not very strict on much of anything. We don't have a lot of rules. It's a lot of it's common sense, and part of it comes with the age group, because we've all, a good chunk of us have grown up together. We all have families, and some of us have kids and families, or broken family. Okay, I shouldn't say broken families, but we have a very diverse group. But part of the whole vetting process with getting people in is can you handle the atmosphere? We tend to be not nice sometimes. I think God, one of our other guys says that part of what keeps PAL together is our mutual hatred for each other, and that's kind of true because we give each other a lot of shit. We're pretty mean to each other. I mean, even like when we want to tease people, we'll give it to them, and we expect people to take it, unfortunately, but we also expect them to dish it back out at us, because that's the kind of mutual relationship that we have. If it was one-sided, then we're going to have a problem. And at least for me, the problem that I would have would be with the quiet person, because maybe I didn't speak with that person enough to let them know, hey, you know what, this is the kind of atmosphere that we have. We want everyone to be cool. Just just know that we're not really taking each other seriously on this. I want to make sure that everything is on the up and up. All right, and most of the time it is. Sometimes not so much, and if that doesn't jive with them, then unfortunately I'm not going to try to change the guild atmosphere because I offended one person. That person will probably leave on their own, and as long as it's amicable, then cool. We all come away better. I don't have leadership. I'm more like the dictator of PAL. That's what they'll say about me. I tried to have officers, and there's some people that have played more of like a raid leader kind of role. I've had a number of folks that tried to take up that mantle or like co-lead certain things with me, but I don't have quite. I don't really have like so much of a leadership. I'd like to empower everyone to kind of, be their own person, and I want to be able to trust most everybody. I mean, people. There's a rank in guild. They're called SoulSoBreezys. Haha, that's where the channel came from. I have breezies, and those are the people that I trust, the most. They're the ones with like, the bank access and those kinds of special privileges, but essentially they're still just raiders. I don't necessarily give them responsibility or tell them, hey, you must take care of this or else, but most of the time they just kind of volunteer their work. Hey, I have spare resources, I'm going to give into the bank, and I asked that out of everybody. I need these kinds of resources so I can help pay for all of your enchants and repairs and BOEs and stuff like that. And so we have that kind of mutual relationship between me and the guild. And the ones who stick around long enough, I give them the rank. It's as mostly a formality. But when it comes down to like officership, I run the show. Like it's just me that does like that, who's like the authority. At most I might have like the co-tank. He kind of co-leads, so if he wants people to like shut up, then he'll say something and I back him up. And I say that if anyone needs to like speak their mind and I think it's warranted, then they have my back. But it's pretty much just me. Now I'm not a fan of officer chat at all. To me, officer chat, I mean, it serves a purpose in like other guilds that need that sort of organization, but that's not something that we need because I run everything. So I don't need. I think I do have breezy rank. I think breezys can use chat, but I don't encourage using it at all because I want everyone to be able to talk to each other. I don't think there should be like a shadow layer or a background curtain kind of thing that people are talking shit behind other people's backs. I think that if you got something to say, you should say it. I don't even like whispering, or at least I don't like when people whisper me. Like usually when someone whispers me, and I and it's because of a grievance, I air it. I'll say, XYZ person says, hey, you know what, such and such person, they rolled on a piece of loot and it's not even an upgrade, and then I'll just call them out like right away, like, hey, you know what, this and this person said this and this person rolled on this. So I bring it all out in the air because I want to make it so that it's okay to be upset about something. Just say it. The worst thing is that you say nothing and then you just kind of let the anger build up to a point where you explode. I've seen that, and I don't like when that happens. But the whispering too, I don't want to make it feel like you have to go behind someone else's back or like go over their head and talk to me. I would much rather have these two parties sort things out themselves, and I'll observe and I'll mediate and I'll come down and calm down. I'll say something if I need to in order to keep the ball rolling. But otherwise, yeah, no officer chat. Don't like whispers. I want people to be able to talk to each other. That's kind of the point of being in a guild. The bad ones. That's tough because they come and most of the time they go, but sometimes they end up causing problems. And the ones that are toxic, those people I try to understand, because I want to find out where this toxicity is coming from, whether it is a grievance with the game or if they're having a problem with a specific person. That I want to try and talk about. I want to be conscious about as much of what's going on as my bandwidth can handle. But when it comes down to it, if someone is being toxic to the point where it's bringing down everyone else, then I'll have to talk with that person. Then I had to deal with that not too long ago, where someone was just, they've been around for a while, but they've always carried like this air of toxicity that kind of killed the mood. It wasn't even like funny, the way this person would carry himself. Maybe this person thought that they were funny, but unfortunately it just didn't come off that way. So things didn't feel good, and so people started talking smack behind his back. That wasn't cool either, by the way. But the core problem was what was the offender's attitude, and eventually I had to do something about it. And well, now they're gone. But that's kind of that. It's all a case by case. We just, I just try to drive the point home that we just want to hang out. We only have so much time on our hands. We're only a 6 hour a week raiding guild. That's 2 days. That's all we have time for. So we don't have time to deal with drama. Even though that the reality is that we do deal with it from time to time. We try our best to avoid it by talking, trying to keep up communication, try to be successful with that. And that's not 100%, but we try our best to do that. So keeping my temper. So sometimes people just get out of line. Sometimes chat will just get too loud. Sometimes people might be talking a bit too much smack, or it may come to the point where, hey, you know what? I know that we're all trying to be cool, but this might be offensive. I had an older gentleman and his son, like they were in guild. This was years ago, Wrath of the Lich King days. He and his son were around, and one person, one other person in guild liked to use a certain kind of racial slur, and so the kid's dad, he messaged me, he whispered me, and he said, "Hey, such and such is saying this. That needs to stop now." And I'm like, okay, that's gonna stop. So I let him know, cool. And then I told that guildie, hey, this is what's going on. This is what he said. It's gonna stop now. And that was never an issue anymore. But I guess for me, like the thing that pisses me off more than anything is like the random banter. Well, okay, maybe not so much. It wouldn't really piss me off, but when it starts to affect performance, this is in a raid kind of thing. If people start to get distracted, then eventually people are going to start hearing me say, "Hey, shut up! Keep channels open, or keep it down, or something like that." That's when people know that I'm kind of coming down. I'm kind of coming down on things. Coming down. I said it twice, but I try to keep it as lighthearted as possible and keep it chill. It's just when it comes to business, I wanna try to balance. I just want to try to balance things in such a way that's we don't get irritated. We all want to feel good at the end of a night, for the most part. And when there are distractions to that, and if it goes on unchecked for too long, then that becomes a problem, and I need to step in. A PVE guild is, well, I guess as a PVE guild, like it's a huge difference. It's not easy, and I'm sure. Well, that's why I'm making this video. It's not easy. It's different from a pug because, like, if you're in a shitty pug, right, and you're struggling with a boss, things aren't going so great at all, you can just decide, screw it, I'm gonna leave this pug, I'm gonna join another one. In a guild, not so much. You can't just leave and join another guild. Well, you can, but then that kind of makes you look bad. That makes you look like a dick, and that doesn't feel good. But at the same time, as a full guild, as a guild leader, you can't manage a shitty run, or you'll have bad runs, but you got to be able to handle it with grace, a modicum of grace, and humility, and professionalism. Because if you don't and you're raging out, you can't just rage out and leave, because once that crappy run is over, those people are still in your guild. Or at least hopefully they're still in your guild. And you're gonna have to salvage that. You're gonna have to deal with hurt feelings. You're gonna have to deal with missed out loot, or a bad roll, or a bad call, things that might be your fault. It's just a lot more responsibility on your part when things go bad, because in a pug, when things do go bad, okay, we're wipe the slate clean, start out with some new pugs, and then you're good to go. The cost benefit of running a guild is that you get to grow together, and maybe that's not a value prop for everyone, but then you wouldn't be watching this video. For people that do value it, you got to be really conscious of the problems that you can possibly encounter, because some people just won't be as skilled as other people. So you've just got to manage those kinds of expectations between. I guess I'm like talking about so many things at once right now, but with regards to running a PvE kind of guild, it's super important to lay down the expectations right away. This is the schedule. These these are like the item level requirements, if you even have requirements. We don't have requirements, really. It's like, can you breathe? Do you have ears? Can you log into chat? That's pretty much all you need to get by in here. Can you look at the enemy boss and all that stuff? Can you update add-ons? We have low expectations, and that's the beauty of running the guild, is that and I said this earlier, is that we set the expectations. I set the expectations as the GM and as the raid lead, and I let everyone know that. I make that extremely clear, and the guild values that. I think that's why that's something that someone had said just a little earlier today. It's that's probably a big reason why you're a successful guild leader, is that you manage those kinds of expectations so that everyone feels okay at the end of the night, even if there are huge DPS disparities between like the best people and the brand new person that just did this fight for the first time, and they happen to get loot. Everyone feels okay because I managed the expectations as to, okay, this is what's probably going to happen. Everything's okay until it's not, or I guess my phrase is, it's not a problem till it's a problem. Loot rules. So for most raids, so what are we doing now? We were doing personal loot for a while, because it's just easy. That eliminates a lot of the drama. I mean, some part of the challenge with that is trading down. People that have people that have better stuff and they want to trade it down to other people. That's when we'll see a little bit more nuance with how roles are doled out. when it comes to tier, and this is something new that came in with the Nighthold raid, then we'll do either master loot or group loot. I did master. I forgot why I did master loot. I think it was just so I can manage tier, because I wanted to like shoot for everyone to have 2-piece bonus, and then for everyone to have a 4-piece bonus, and then from there everyone just kind of does a greed roll for like either extra rolls, or if we progress into heroic or something like that. So I try to so I play the socialism card, communism card. I don't know. I play that kind of card. I just want to share the wealth regarding the tier. As for pretty much anything else, I just kind of leave it up to group loot. I just leave it up to random, and a long-standing rule that I have regarding loot is don't be an asshole. If someone is gonna, if a piece of loot is like a 5-item level upgrade for one person and it's a 30-item level upgrade for another person, I set the expectation, again managing expectations, to not be a dick about it. I strongly encourage you, person, to let the other person have it, because that's going to be what's good for the guild. I can't stop them though. I don't let myself stop them. I just strongly discourage it, because I don't want people to feel. I also don't want people to feel like, they're just carrying other people for loot. So that they can get loot too. I want to be as fair as possible, but I want to kind of empower these people, the winner of that loot, to pass it if they don't want to deal with the social stigma of being a dick. And that's not perfect. I know it's not perfect, because sometimes people come out feeling a little bit bad about it, but well, it's worked for a while, so that we're keeping that system. So for communication these days, we started using Discord like a year ago, something like that, because Vent just wasn't doing it anymore. Or Vent was fine, but I wanted to try something else, something newer, shinier. And I saw that there were some clients out there. I saw Discord. Hey, I'll try it out, and I just fell in love with it. It's just easy to use because one, it's a decent chat client, or a decent voice chat client. Responds pretty well, and the commands and all that volume control and things like that, those are easy to use. But at the same time, it also offers a chat function, a text chat function, and you can throw down links and post stuff. And I think that is a very, very valuable tool for a guild, especially a more established guild that maybe they play other games, or maybe they just feel like chatting and hanging out, even if they don't feel like or don't happen to have access to WoW at the moment. And we use our chat to these days, the chat's like kind of growing a little bit. We use it to post like tips and guides, logs, stuff like that. It's been a pretty valuable tool for us. But on top of that, part of growing as a guild leader and as a guild is to be able to get input from your team as well. Like, you don't want to just pull decisions out of your ass and just assume that that's going to be the best for the guild unless you've pre-planned it and researched and whatnot. But when it comes to changes, like if you're going to change the schedule of the raid, or if you're going to switch gears and push heroic or mythic stuff hard, or scale back, or do totally different content, these are things that you want to talk about with your team and get their input. Like, everyone can have a voice if they want to speak up. They've just got to speak up. Resource. We tend to share resources with the guild. Like, I do all the gold. So like, I pretty much make all the money in the guild, and I ask everyone to pitch in, mostly with herbs, because that helps fund my glyph market, and then I'll be able to take that money and put it back into the guild in the form of like repairs or BOEs or any of that stuff. But for the most part, that's the part that I play. The strongest, just kind of as an administrator. So if I can help fund the guild, then they just need to worry about showing up and performing decently enough for us to progress with whatever we want to do. I guess the point is, as a guild master, it's not just, you know, managing the guild. There are roles that I can play too based on the strengths that I have. So I encourage anyone else, you know, to play on your strengths as, you know, a super hot shit DPS, or a super healer or a tank, you know, if you're really good at those roles, or if you have other skills, you know, submit that to the guild, because you're gonna be asking people to contribute their, you know, their talents and whatnot for you. You should be able to do the same too. I think there's kind of a drawback that you want to avoid regarding things like cliques, or, you know, groups of people that want to congregate together, or like, let's say they're friends that, a small group of friends, they all join the guild together, and then they all kind of band together and then kind of smack talk behind everyone else's backs. Those are things that you kind of want to look out for. I've noticed, like, over the years, whenever you have those kinds of situations, you want to try to be as inclusive as you can. You know, just make it feel like, you know, it's not like, you know, a collection of cliques and cliques and cliques. It's a guild, and we're all in it together. Of course, that's something that you can't help. That's just kind of how it goes. But you just want to be aware of those kinds of situations, and you know, be prepared to kind of act on them. But you don't want to alienate them either, because otherwise you might piss off the entire clique, and that could be like 3 or 4 people that just suddenly leave because you, the GM, are having a problem with them. That hasn't really happened, but those are just kind of the things that you want to avoid. People like to say that WoW feels like it's a job. That's, you know, you gotta clock in on your raid nights, do your work, and then you clock out. It's not a job because you don't get paid for it. But it's kind of true too. There's a certain monotony in, you know, doing the same kind of activity over and over again. So sometimes it's okay to, you know, you want to schedule it a little bit ahead in advance, but just schedule an off night, either for like totally different activities, like a fashion show or a guild race or something, or you know, or, you know, something like that, or like a dungeon night, or an old legacy raid night, something like that. And that gives a chance for one to do something different, or two, if people aren't interested in doing that activity at all and don't want to raid and they'd rather do nothing that night, consider it a night consider it a night off. Sometimes things like that is healthy. Doing nothing also breaks the monotony. So in a sense, it is kind of like any other job, where you want to try to, you know, keep your folks from being bored by changing things up, you know, just a little bit, in order to keep the morale going, ice break, and get people to know each other a little bit more during like raid time, if, you know, some people don't happen to stick around during off nights. Closing thoughts. I like guilds. There's that. I guess I'm being kind of preachy or ranty here, but I'm not too fond of the whole feeling that there's 2 different games within World of Warcraft, at least with regards to grouping. I mean, there's the PUGs, and then then there's the guilds. You have 2 different sides that do the same function, but then the way that they operate is really different. But I guess more so with the perception, because when someone's mad about something in WoW and they talk about their guild, then we know that they're talking about their guild. But when someone is talking very generally, then they're usually talking about PUGs, which is the you know, in my opinion, like the greater population of WoW. Most people just do kind of like pickup groups. They queue for a dungeon, they use the group finder, or something like that. But most of them aren't part of a guild that does organized content. A lot of these folks that are talking smack about like the grinding, all the same old arguments of the grinding and the legendaries and the artifact power and yada yada yada. That's all in the context of trying to get into like pugs, or trying to get into group finders, or, you know, some guilds, yes, you know, they are doing that, but it's under that kind of context. And when you consider that, the sky's the limit. Of course, people in pugs are going to be looking for like overperforming, crazy artifact power, crazy item level requirements. They're going to have that kind of stuff because they want to guarantee success in their run, and that's the only real metric that they have to go with. That's why, of course, in the best case scenario, a pug is going to perform better than a guild, because with a pug, you're kind of picking and choosing between who has the highest item level, who has like these legendaries and stuff. So that's where like all those perceptions come from, and those perceptions are true. They happen. The thing is, though, and with me like answering my own freaking questions here, is that guilds create a bubble that that lets you experience something else, because like I said at the very beginning of this thing, POW dictates its own requirements. Like as of March, I don't know, early March, I finally got like 50 rank 54 on my weapon, and this is March, and this is like, and I'm sure like tons and tons of people have 1, 2, 3 bajillion weapons at rank 54, but I'm pretty sure that within my guild, I'm the only one, just me. But we still progress. We still, we still push content. Yeah, we're 9 and 10 heroic, and I'm sure that's kind of low by a lot of people's standards. But we're still doing it, and we're still, relatively happy doing it. We're okay because once again, and I guess this is the biggest takeaway. These are the expectations that I set for my guild. I consider our options, our throughput, our ability, our schedule. I took our gameplay and then I created a goal for that. That goal happens to be get as far as completing heroic rating and then dick around. On the other hand, if I set the expectation, yeah, we're going to complete heroic and then we're going to push mythic like motherfuckers, then that feeling of competition is definitely going to come, because it's like, oh shit, now we got to go mythic, now I got to power up my weapon, I got to do this and that in order to get the necessary throughput that I need in order to compete. And that's okay, as long as you set that expectation, straight away. Then if you're not happy with that kind of expectation from your guild or your group, then you do something else, or you go elsewhere. If you're racing for the top, then yeah, you're going to be doing everything. You're hardcore. You're pushing artifact power. You're rolling multiple tunes so you can get better legendaries and things like that, because that's the expectation that was set for you, and you chose that. Some people don't realize that they can choose what they want to do, but they don't, and they bitch about it and they blame Blizzard for it, and rightfully so. I'm not going to preach again about what Blizzard can do to help cultivate guilds and all that stuff, but guilds are the solution. If people could find an answer to their needs, then a lot of these conversations, they just wouldn't apply. They wouldn't happen. It sucks. There's a lot of people that are in a kind of that are around my level or around POW's level when it comes to their progression. So I'd like to invite them into guild. Sure, go ahead, come in. Let's see what happens. Maybe you'll suck, but hey, it's not a problem till it's a problem, right? Oh, last words. Okay. Well, I hope I hope this helped. I hope that there's something that you guys can take away from this, and maybe you can take it, if you're already in a guild, you can take it to your offices or a guild leader and see if there's like anything cool that you can glean out of this. Or if you're starting something on your own, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard as fuck, because this game is not new. There aren't a lot of people that are interested in joining a brand new guild, but you just gotta be super. Here's the last tip, I guess. You gotta be super resilient in the face of like everything, because you're gonna struggle. The best thing to suggest is not so much build a guild and then start doing stuff, but just start finding people. Find people through the group finder, things like that. You use your battle tag. Fill up your battle tag list with friends, and anyone who you've had a good experience with in a run. Save those people, keep in contact with them, because you never know, they might be like, oh, my guild's pretty shit, or it exploded or whatever. Just keep that in your pocket. You might have a chance to take a couple of people from that list and be like, hey, you know what, let's do something on a regular. Let's do something each week, one night a week. Just start with that, with a small group. Build those relationships, start making friends, and eventually, especially thanks to like WoW token, BattleNet balance exchange, whatever, you can probably talk them into, hey, you know what, let's roll together full time. Let's make something together. And if you can, if you have the tenacity to start that kind of relationship building, then you probably have the tenacity to keep going. So there's probably so much more that I could say, so many better tips, but I guess if people did have questions, they could put stuff in a comment below. I'd be happy to talk with you guys and answer whatever the hell questions that you guys have, or you can message me in game, say hi, or on stream as always. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the questions, I'm pretty sure. So you guys have a good one and stay breezy.